Hi, my name is Dan Keane. I am head chef of Stackia Restaurant and Urban Brewing, and I am here today to show you guys how to make broccoli and cheddar cheese fritters with a apple and radish salsa. This is a dish that takes inspiration for me from when I was traveling around Australia, and I used to eat stuff like this a lot for breakfast. Okay, so we're going to start off by prepping some broccoli, taking the florets off the stalks, just cutting around the top, and then cutting the florets up to a nice small even sizes. After that, we're going to put them into a pot of salted boiling water just for 90 seconds. Put them into a colander and run cold water on them just to cool them down. It keeps them green, keeps them fresh, keeps them tasty. Okay, so now we're just going to put the broccoli in a bowl and put it in the side until later. Now that the broccoli is cooked and ready to go, we're going to make our batter now to make our fritters. I'm adding flour to the bottom of my bowl. Just put it all in. Then you're going to use your whisk and you're going to make just a little well in the bottom of your bowl. We're going to get our eggs and we're going to crack 2 eggs into the well. And then using my whisk, I will just be gradually breaking the eggs and bringing in a small bit of flour into the mix. After this, we add our milk. Just a little bit at a time. The longer time you take over this, the smoother batter you will have in the end. You don't want to rush it, you'll get a lumpy batter. And we're going to bring it all together and combine it until it's a nice smooth paste. And that's pretty much exactly where we want it. Nice, smooth, slightly sticky. It's perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to season it. Just making sure you have plenty of salt and pepper. The pepper's going to add just a slight spice in the aftertaste. And that's what we're looking for to go with everything else in the end. You stir in the salt and pepper, you need to stir it in. You need to make sure it's dispersed evenly throughout the whole batter. Okay, and now that the batter is done, we're going to put that to the side and we are going to move on to making our salsa. So you just want to start off with 2 delicious red gala apples. So you just slide down the side and again, you get nice little discs, just about 2 centimeters in thickness. Then when you get both sides finished, and just take the last 2 sides off. And then we're going to cut them first of all into matchsticks and then turn them 90-degree angle and we're going to cut them into nice little cubes. Just going to go back across. And once the apple is cut into matchsticks, and you cut back across your matchsticks. And we repeat this process until all the apple is cut into nice little cubes. After we've done the apples, we're going to move on to our radishes. So radishes are delicious little vegetables, slightly peppery in flavour. Great colour, they're amazing little things. So you just want to take the tops off them, like that. Just removing the stalk. Cut directly through, and you get 2 lovely little half radishes there, like that. Once all the radishes are cut in half, we're going to go on from this, and we're going to cut them in half again, but we're going to cut them in half widthwise, just like that. So you end up with 2 pieces like this. Just run the knife across that, so you get nice little cubes. Again, nice little cubes of radish. Just like that. Okay, so I have 2 spring onions here. I'm just going to take the ends off. Both sides, just you don't want the rough cuts. Okay, now you need to be very careful because we're going to go to full length of the spring onion and we're just going to cut it right down the center. Same on the second spring onion, you just go in at one end, try and go all the way down along the center. And then we're going to do that again on each one, cutting the spring onion into quarters. So now that you have the spring onions cut into quarters, we're just going to run the knife all the way up through them. And you just gradually move it back, letting the curvature of the knife work for you. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to basil. Okay, so we're just going to take a couple of leaves of this. You want to make sure you take out the stalks, okay? You get a delicious smell as you're actually doing this because it's really fragrant. It's just going to add a nice little flavour and a little bit of contrasting colour into our salsa as well. Little claw hand onto the basil, holding it nice and tight, and then just run the knife through it, just like this. Once you're all the way through the basil, you'll have like long bits. So you just want to just roughly bring the knife back through it, just cutting it into slightly smaller pieces. And just place that on top of the radish, the onion and the apple in the bowl. Okay, now we're going to season. We're going to bring back our old friend, salt and pepper. Now we're going to grab our Irish apple cider vinegar and we're just going to add a dash of this into our bowl. This brings your acidity And it also brings out a little bit extra flavor into the apples just because it's an apple product itself. A general rule of thumb is that you use 4 parts oil to 1 part vinegar when you're making a dressing. This is what's going to give you your sauce at the end of the day. Now that the salsa is done, we can incorporate the rest of our ingredients into our batter. And we're going to bring spring onions back, and we're going to chop 2 of those again like we did for the salsa. And just hold everything in nice and tightly together, again using your hand to guide your knife. Now once our spring onions are chopped, we're just going to pick those up again and add them into our batter mix. Now we're going to take some of the wild garlic. Again, this is the optional ingredient that I've added to the recipe. Any wild fruits or vegetables or anything you might go and pick in the wild in Ireland, you have to 100% know what you're picking, and you have to 100% know what you're picking is safe. We're going to treat this similar to the basil. We're just going to take some leaves and we're going to fold them over. We're just going to cut nice, small, tight strands of it across. Okay, now once that's finished chopping, we're just going to pick it up and add it into the bowl on top of the spring onions and the batter. We're just going to add in our blanched broccoli that we had here from earlier, and we're going to add in our grated cheese from the recipe as well. Now I'm taking my frying pan, bringing it up to a medium heat, and making sure that there's a little bit of olive oil in the frying pan. So we add 1 spoonful of fritter mix at a time. I will leave them cook approximately 2 minutes either side. It is just a case of every oven and every top is different, so you need to be able to see when they turn a nice golden brown. And then I'm going to flip them over and finish cooking the other side. Roughly 90 seconds to 2 minutes each side. Again, you'll get a nice golden brown color, and you'll see, and the cheese will start to melt, and it'll all start looking delicious. So now we're just going to bring everything together and just plate up. So we have our fritters here, and we're just going to put 2 of them just nicely in the center of this little plate here. One just slightly leaning on top of the other, just giving it a little bit of height. Then we're going to take our salsa, just add a nice generous few spoonfuls just up on the top. So over top, making sure you pick up some of the liquid as well in it, some of the vinegar, some of the oil. And there, just leave it falling off the side. That's it finished, that's how we have it. Now we just have one thing left to do, and that's just eat. We have here a nice little simple dish that you can make for your parents or with your parents. A lovely sweet little apple here, slightly crisp and spicy radish, creaminess from the cheese. Oh, it's a good little dish.